Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to a new episode of the Late Night Lake Show podcast, sponsored by Prize Picks. It is your host, Ricky and Kwame. We got our boy Vinay in the building for the first time this season, but longtime friend of the show. And we couldn't think of a more perfect time to have Vinay drop by than right before the Lakers get ready to start their final lap of the NBA season. We coming right off the tails of All-Star bed and breakfast, and we're ready to get going. We're ready to talk about all the ins and outs of the trade deadline, and then obviously look ahead for this final stretch. So make sure you are following Late Night Lake Show wherever you get your good content. Make sure that you are liked and subscribed. Make sure you just following everybody that provides good content for the brand. Okay, perfect. Anyways, let's get into it, fellas. Vinay, first of all, how are you? Long time no talk, man. How are things?
Yeah, man. It's great to be back on the show, back on the pod, Late Night Lake Show, continuing to grow like I expected you guys to, because you guys are awesome with the Lakers content and stuff like that. Just happy to be here. I'm happy to see that we made some moves with the Lakers, and I'm happy to see. I'm looking forward to seeing what the games are going to look like moving forward, because I think this team's going to be much better, health permitting, of course.
We got that one game full roster sample size, right? And it was everything. It was everything we could have thought of and more. And honestly, to be honest, first of all, I'm just happy to finally have Kwame back, because it was getting real dark for my brother. I would try to talk to him about the Lakers, and sometime I would have to do wellness checks to make sure that this man was all right. So before we get into all the craziness, Kwame, man, real quick, bro, you're feeling good? You're feeling ready and rejuvenated?
I feel like my life has been put back into my body. Like I feel like I was just walking around a soulless husk for months, for like a season and a half, walking around with no emotions, just anger. Every minor trade rumor had me so excited. It was crazy, man. That was an experience like I've never had, and it just feels good to be back. I know we had a 1-game sample size, but boy, that was fantastic. Like chef's kiss. Like I could have cried at the end of that game. I felt like this is a whole new year for us. So, we got a stretch run, a little runway to the end, and see what we can make happen. But I am very optimistic, and it's just good to be back, man. It's good to see the Lakers not look like dog shit every night. So I'm excited.
I'll say we had a little bit more than just one game, because we did get that Warriors game. That was also a really good win, even without. So overall it was great. Yeah,
man.
Kwame got like a whole different mood, man.
He's back, man. It was getting real spooky for my man. We had to check in. But all right, anyway, let's do it. We got so much to get into, man. I think the first stop that we have to make, and then the craziness of the trade deadline, is the departing guards of the Los Angeles Lakers, Russell Westbrook, and now Patrick Beverley have found new homes. And I couldn't take another step into this show without first getting your thoughts, Vinay, on Russ hopping through the back door at Staples/Scripto, and it is now into the visitors' locker room and is a Los Angeles Clipper. As a resident Southern Californian, lifelong Lakers fan, how'd that one hit when Russ went to the Clips?
Yeah, so I mean, if you've been following my timeline, I've been literally adding Russ every chance I get, saying don't go to the Clippers, because I don't want him to go to the Clippers. But it like I get it. You probably want to be around his family and stuff like that. Look, man, he plays for a division rival, so I'm not rooting for any success for him or for that team to have any success at all. I didn't want him to go to that team. I would have rather him go somewhere else. Just because I don't want any more talent to be in the West. Like, we got an uphill climb as the Lakers team. So it's like, I don't want anybody, even him, like to help any team out. But it is what it is. The game works the way it does. But I mean, the Lakers make good moves. Like the move that we made to move him out, sending only a protected pick, getting back Vando, getting back Beasley, getting back D'Lo, like that was a big deal. And the other bigger move was getting Pat. Like, we got Bombo's gonna come off the bench, but it was like we got rid of the chipmunks. Like, there's no more chipmunk lineups that Darvin Ham can run no more, right? So it's like that.
Yeah.
That was like that. We needed to do that. Like, we couldn't do these 3-guard lineups with 2 guys that were barely 6 foot. And so, obviously it didn't go as the whole big three thing didn't go the way that it was supposed to. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into that, including the performance of individual players. But, that's just, it just happens. Like that's just how the game goes. And hopefully the Lakers learn their lesson and don't try to do this again in this offseason or something like that. And
Come on,
they're smart about
Come
it.
on. You are asking a lot, brother. You are asking a gambling addict to step into Vegas and just, hit the buffets and enjoy the magic shows, bro. It is the one thing that the Lake Show love to do is to flirt with superstars whenever they are available. So, I mean, playoff Russ is back. The Clippers are going to make the playoffs. Playoff Brody is going to be in the building, so it'll be very interesting to see how Ty Lue and obviously Paul George and Kawhi had to have signed off. Paul George had this pom-poms, was on the side of the road like cheerleaders doing free car washes and shit. So clearly they're excited about having Russ in the building, and we just want to make it perfectly clear before we move forward with the show: Russell Westbrook on a veteran minimum salary is an asset to pick up. How they utilize that is yet to be seen, but for that money, that is still an athletic contributing basketball player on the court when used in the right way. Did I add enough qualifiers to that?
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, I think a lot of times, like, I don't think people understand. This is just anybody. It is damn near impossible to justify $47 million, like an individual player making that much money, unless it's like a top 5 player in the league. So he was never going to justify his value until he got on a different contract. So this is not the cut bail for him or nothing like that. But like if he was like a $10 million player, which might be what his market is, like if he has a good run or something like that with the Clippers, like that's like the mid-level exception. I think people will be like, yeah, it's like he's a good player, he's a good value guy. But I'll be very interested to see how he does with the Clippers. And I'm not going to watch their games, but obviously I'll keep track of them. But I'm going to be very interested to see the war between Lakers fans and Russ fans on the timeline after this.
No, that is for life now. That is a life situation, brother. Kwame, I'm a little, let's just go our separate ways. And I think we were heading in that direction. If Russ would have went to the Bulls, that would have been a win-win scenario for Kwame and I, because he's in the backyard. He's right here. We get to see. And honestly, for the Bulls fans I talked to, they were like, F it. Bring on Russ. Like
they wanted Russ. They wanted
purgatory of a season for us. Nobody's showing any signs of life. Apparently, DeMar DeRozan is more focused on having more children than actually leading his team to the playoffs in Chicago. So I don't know what to make of everything that's going on with the Bulls. If they were asking for Russ and then not getting Russ and then ending up with the hometown kid, Patrick Beverley.
Yeah.
Pat Bev is now playing for the Bulls, and of course you get all of the sentimental videos now of him playing at Marshall High School in the city. And funny enough, I work closely with someone at my regular job that pays for the bills that grew up with Pat Bev, like all the way through freshman year of high school. And she's just like, you know what, it's great that Pat gets to come home, but know this: Patrick Beverley as a child was the same Patrick Beverley that he is right now. He did not change 1 ounce to the fact that he was getting into fights, getting his jaw broken and wired shut, and going back to playing basketball at the same courts when he was younger. She was saying he's just a different type of dude. So, hey, Kwame, shout out Pat Bev. Maybe we'll see him later next month when the Bulls and Lakers link up, man. We know he's about to be OD when they play. He's already said it on the podcast.
Yeah.
He said he's coming for their heads.
Yeah. But you know what? Like, I mean, these guys are humans, so respect to both of those guys for like playing through a season when you kind of knew that you were probably going to be on your way out. Like, it's really easy for us to say that like, they get paid millions of dollars and stuff like that. But like, to some degree, like they knew they were on borrowed time. So I always try to, you can't forget the human part of that. Like Pat's been on like 4 teams in 2 seasons.
Yeah, man, like, he's all over the place.
Yeah, he's been moving, so like, I get it. But respect to those guys for being professionals throughout as best as they could.
Yeah.
Note to any future NBA players that think they're about to be a Laker or coach the Lakers: don't get a birthday cake with the Lakers logo on them. Please,
The party.
bro. Your days are numbered off rip if you get a Lakers birthday. It's a scarlet letter down. It's the kiss of death. So,
Wow.
all right. Good luck to those guys. Good luck to Juan Toscano Anderson. Good luck to, hey, Thomas Bryant, see you when we see you.
Yeah,
Since,
we had his
wanted
head.
some more opportunities. Have fun. Backing up, the 3-time MVP. I'm sure you'll get plenty of minutes up there. So, moving forward, that's out a little bitter, man. I mean, walking, I just don't like rumors where you of all people talking about some more playing time when Anthony Davis comes back, brother. What's the Rock say back in the day? Shut your mouth and know your role. Anyways, shout out Thomas Bryant. All right, V. Let's move on to the exciting stuff, man. What the Lakers brought in comes Malik Beasley, 3-point shooter, activity shooting guard. In comes Jared Vanderbilt, who is just this hybrid athletic two-way forward with size and looks like he is matching up pretty nicely with Anthony Davis. 1-game sample size in the front court. In comes Mo Bamba, which I thought was just, was more of a song until now that he's finally a Los Angeles Lakers. So can't wait to get your opinions on all these guys. But let's just start off rip, man. As these trades started coming, and Rui Hachimura, shout out our boy Rui. He came a little bit earlier, pause, but he still arrived on the Lakers. Where do all these trades, looking back on them, 1 game, two game sample size, right? Rui, a couple more. Which one of these additions have you most excited, brother?
Yeah, I think for me, like even when the Utah trade happened, getting Jared Vanderbilt was probably the guy that I was most excited about. When he originally got traded from Minnesota to Utah, he had just switched to Clutch. I want to say right before that move happened or something. I don't remember exactly when he had switched agencies, but when he did that, the tweet's not deleted because I always wipe my Twitter like every couple months. But I had specifically tweeted out like, if this guy is available, the Lakers should try to get him and go call Rich Paul and be like, does he want to be in Utah or does he want to be in LA? Because after watching him in Minnesota and stuff like that, and I watched like the series against Memphis last year, he was all of the wing defense stuff that you wanted out of Patrick Beverley. That's actually Jared Vanderbilt. Like that, that's actually what he is. He's a young player. And the thing that makes him even better is he has a ridiculous rebounding motor. And you probably saw that in this most recent game. Like he will fight his own teammates to the point where he'll injure them for rebounds. Like if that's just what, because that's just what he does. That's how he plays. And so I was very excited for him. And then, of course, just adding more shooting. Like just D'Lo can shoot the ball if nothing else. He can still facilitate. You see him pull up in transition. We haven't had a guy who will pull up in transition for threes and stuff like that. And then Beasley's, I call him like a sociopath shooter. Like he doesn't pay. He doesn't care like remember like KCP used to be scared about shooting the ball. He was like very aware of the moment sometimes. And Braun had to get mad at him, be like, dude, shoot the ball. That's not Beasley. Like Beasley's, he'll make you feel the other way. Like, yo, like stop shooting the ball. And that's why I think when Braun compares him to J.R. Smith, like that's a great comp in terms of his like mentality. Like he will shoot it because that's his job, and he knows that's what's going to get him paid. So like everything was great. I think all the additions have been wonderful. But Vanderbilt, I'm very, very excited for because I think he's going to have an immediate impact on spelling Braun and AD when it comes to like defensive rebounding, especially in a way that Rui can't, because of the way he's kind of built and stuff like that.
Oh man, I think I wasn't surprised that they put Vanderbilt out there. I think I was more interested to see AD at the 5 still with another athletic freak next to him. I thought potentially we'll see. I don't know. Well, let me ask this, V. Do you think that we potentially could see some Bamba AD minutes?
Yeah, I don't think that's against. I don't think it's impossible that we see it. The only reason why I don't think we see it is because obviously AD's got, like he said that he has to get surgery on his foot, right? Like I tweeted a while back that like people are like, why is AD having bad games, and can he carry the team? And obviously that led to that whole day where people are talking about trading him and stuff like that.
Right.
And like he's working through a foot injury. That doesn't mean that he can't play better or make shots or whatever, make his layups. But like I think that's also affecting his mobility. Like you can't put him. So like if you play Bamba, then AD has to do what Vando is doing, which is he has to chase Brandon Ingram around because LeBron's 1,000 years old and he's not going to do it. And so I don't think AD is equipped to do that right now, physically, defensively. And I think playing him at the 5, even if he doesn't like it, is actually protecting him from being in those situations where he bumps knees or like a smaller guy tries to screen him and he turns his ankle on something like that. Because that's how he's been getting hurt lately. And so is it possible? Yes. If the Lakers really want to run a really big lineup, they could definitely do it. But I think it's more likely that they'll probably keep trying to play him at the 5. And look, if D'Lo and Braun are feeding him looks the same way Russ was feeding him looks, and he's getting easy dunks, easy layups, make his life easy on offense. Use his energy on defense and make his life easy on offense. That's Lakers basketball. That's the best way to play it.
I don't know how I just jumped to Bamba so quick, but he was so fascinating. I was hitting Kwame up in the group chat, and I was like, yeah, okay. I understand this is his first game back, suspension, right? It's not like he had an injury or anything, but I think with Bamba, I don't know, V, tell me if you saw this too. There were smaller bigs on the Pelicans kind of doing him in. And my favorite Friday movie, which was no, it's not my favorite Friday movie, but in Friday After Next, when he's talking to Debo and he's just like, all that buffness for no reason. And he's just like, Mo Bamba's not a buff dude, but he is a giant. He is a giant by any sense of the word. And I don't know, man. You tell me a little bit about the profile on Mo Bamba for what you expect. And so I expect a defensive monster, right? Because he should fit that description. And everybody tells me, and watch how he shoots. He's gonna be a shooter. Watch out, right? Okay, all right, cool. I'll give you a rusty game for shooting. But talk to me a little bit about Bamba's profile and what you expect his impact on the floor really to be versus, kind of what we saw in that first half of the Pelicans game.
Yeah, so I think I think defensively you're looking at him to be the kind of rim protector like JaVale was. Like in that sense, you don't see him. He's not like a burly, like he's not like I'm trying to think of a good comp. Like he's not like a physical defender, right? So you're not going to go and put him on Jokic or Embiid and say, okay, go clamp him. He's not Dwight. Like that's what Dwight was both, but like Dwight was more of a physical guy. So I think Bamba is going to help because now that we're playing bigger, even on the bench, like it's going to be Dennis, Reeves, Troy, Rui. Like those guys aren't exactly the best point of attack defenders. Like they can get beat, but Bamba can help out. Like he can help at least change shots and stuff like that. So I think if you're a Lakers fan and you're watching Bamba defensively, and your expectation is that he's going to be this guy that's just going to just on his own change shots every single time. That's not going to happen. Like he will get fouls. Like I think that he got like 3 fouls in like the first quarter or something like that of the Pelicans game. So it's like sometimes he puts his hands down and he gets caught trying to reach and stuff like that. That was an issue with Thomas Bryant too as well. But then in the second half, you see where he's more impactful, where if the defender can just kind of stay with his guy a little bit, even if they do get beat, Bamba can come and clean up that play on the backside. And so I think that's how the Lakers want to use him. That's how we tried to use Thomas Bryant, but Thomas Bryant was like, he couldn't get off the ground defensively and stuff like that. So that's what it is. And then on the offensive end, just shoot threes. Like just keep shooting threes. Like Bamba's you're not running plays for Bamba to shoot threes. But it's an opportunity in case you need to go to him. And I think like he was pretty aggressive shooting threes, like when he was wide open and stuff like that. So that's good to see because you want somebody to shoot you need to shoot the ball. Like we want you to shoot. So
he shot 5 threes.
Yeah. And the Lakers have different ways they can go, right? Like they can go, like Vando can play small ball center. AD can play center. We still have Wenyan on our team. Like if you really wanted to, you could also play LeBron if you want to play faster or something like that at center. We're not going to, but like it's better to have more tools in the tool chest to try things out and make things work. So I think the second half of that Pelicans game is probably closer to what he actually is versus but he's going to have games where he gets in foul trouble. Like it's going to happen. That's just how it works for big men. But he gets better. The 2 hardest positions to learn when you get on a new team is to be a point guard and to be a center because you got to figure out how everybody else plays before you can get your own game off. That's the way it always works. So Just give him a couple games. I think he'll get it.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with V over here. I think Bamba's second half will likely reflect more of how he'll play. Again, the fouls will happen, like you said. It's just gonna happen. He's not necessarily the most physically imposing center. I think he's only like 230 pounds, at like 7 foot. Like that's a
I gotta lose
frame.
some weight, man. Now I'm feeling self-conscious. God damn it, I weigh more than Mo Bamba in this bit. Like, what is going on?
He's a
all
thin
right.
dude, but his ability to alter shots, and obviously, I think that's just what's going to be his impact. He might not always block it, but if you got to think twice stepping in the lane with him down there, that's job well done enough. And like Vinay said, we didn't quite get that with Thomas Bryant defensively. He's either getting beat or just couldn't get off the ground, and Bamba will be able to do that. And even on the offensive end, him shooting, he's a capable shooter. He's not, I wouldn't label him like a sniper. I wouldn't call him like a Brook Lopez level shooter, but all he needs to do is knock down one or two, and then the whole defense has to react differently, so, and that's just what he's out there for. Again, he had a rusty game, went 0 for 5 against the Pelicans, but that threat of having that ability that he can make threes, I think will change defense's perception when he's out on the floor. So on both ends, I think he has quite a bit of serviceable value. And again, it's not like we need him to play 35 minutes a night, so in his role, I think he'll be perfectly fine. I really like that pickup.
All right. Okay. All right.
I know you need some convincing, but you'll get there. You're tough on the bigs. You're tough on the bigs.
I'm Big Boy University over here, man. You got to pass the smell test for me. And, it just, there was a lot of height, and I was still seeing folks going over them. So, I just wanted to run it past my guys.
It's going to take him time. Like, I think he's also, like, the first thing that bigs typically like to do is, like, he probably thinks that he should just come in and try and block every shot attempt that comes in the paint. And he hasn't learned yet that, like, with this Lakers team, you have to be selective. Like, you got to be smart about what it is, because we used to give Thomas Bryant a lot of crap. And we give, like, when Gabriel a lot of crap, we give AD a lot of crap about it. But the big man has to decide, like, if I'm going to block this shot, is there going to be somebody behind me to get this defensive rebound? Because if nobody does it, like, that was one of the reasons why the Lakers would get killed on the glass, on the offensive glass. Like, and so he's going to learn that, and I think film is probably going to help him out a lot when it comes to it. But the geometry of the court, like having a guy who can shoot, be like your 5 is this floor spacer, as opposed to like Thomas Bryant, who could space the floor. We just didn't use him like that. It'll be a big deal. We need to get taller. We need to get longer. We need to get more athletic. Bamba runs the floor really well. I don't think I saw anybody talk about that, but like you see him, like watch him run up and down the floor in transition. Like he runs hard, and that's good because we need guys to run up and down the floor for this team, especially off the bench. So yeah, just give him my thing, Ricky. Just give him some time. Give him a little bit more time to figure it out.
All right, V. You see me cutting up in 2 weeks from now? Don't act new, bro.
You can at me because I'm sure. I'll find you.
That's hilarious. All right. Okay, so and I know we breezed past Vandy and Beasley, but I think just to close the loop on those two guys, Vanderbilt is literally just that breath of fresh air, that kind of that fix it all in one, where superstars may not make this part of their game because they're superstars and they don't have to. Vanderbilt kind of easily fills in those cracks as far as being in an offensive line. He's a glue guy, right? Like, and absolutely. Pelinka said it best. He said that the main target in this trade was Jared Vanderbilt. I was like, all right, talk your shit, Robbie P. And like, it's easy to see, the energy. It's easy to see the versatility. It's easy to see just the overall length and what he does to the starting lineups, where it's now not just AD, LeBron, Troy Brown Jr., and then two guys that are my height, right? It is now, you're going 6'10", 6'9", 6'8", type of a situation. Now it's a respectable front court in the league. And the marksman, right? And at least he fits the description of somebody who knows how to do his damn job. Vinay, that's the number one thing I love about an NBA role player, man. if you know your job, and if I watch you for the first time and I can tell somebody sitting next to me what his job is on the court, it's a beautiful thing. Beasley, real quick, what can we expect out of him on the defensive side of the ball? I hear a lot about offense and stuff. He's got good size, and I think he is a respectable defensive player, is he not?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's a below average. I would say like he's an average. Like he gives effort on the defensive end, and we know that defense, half of that is just effort. Other thing is he also crashes the glass for his size, which is also another thing that's good because again, we need our when you have AD trying to block shots or AD's boxing out a big man and Vando's boxing out his guy. Again, LeBron's not going to go get the rebound because he's 1,000 years old. He doesn't want to do that. Like LeBron wants to run out in transition, and that's really the way the Lakers should use him. At least in the regular season until his what's it called goes up, usage goes up. And so Beasley's good, and he'll shoot the ball. Like he can miss, like he'll miss 6 in a row. Like he'll just keep shooting it if he's wide open because he, and to be honest, we need guys like that. We don't need guys that are afraid to shoot the ball. Just shoot it. Like finish. Like we had so many plays where we would pass the ball around, and like once you get to like the third pass, you're like, okay, shoot the ball. The energy's there. This is great ball movement. And then we wouldn't, or it'd be like Russell would be the guy who gets it, and then he'd drive and kick it to Patrick Beverly, who also wouldn't shoot it. So it's like, no, just shoot the ball. Like we need guys to shoot the ball. And like, I think it'll be good, man, to have a guy who kind of, like you said, like he knows his role, he knows his job. Like just do your job, try to do it well or to the best of your ability, and we could probably win games that way.
It's nice. It's nice. It's a breath of fresh air having defined roles for players, and it just damn the role players right now. We get that, and even the starting lineup just makes sense. Damn it! And shout out Coach Ham, because sir, we was getting into the temperature danger zone on some of the rotations, some of the lineups, and.
What did you think when he said he had tricks up his sleeve? I was like, what is this guy talking about?
What is he gonna do, man?
Dog, I was paralyzed in anticipation, to be honest with you. And he did the right thing. He fully did the right thing. So shout out Coach Ham. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about the forgotten son that has returned home. D'Angelo Russell, baby. Wow. I do not want to have to come back on this show in a month from now and be pissed off at D'Lo. So I'm just going to make sure he gets all of his flowers right now and say all the happy things about it. So, because it looks like it's looking like it's going to be something good. So, Late Night Lake Show with Vinay. We'll be right back.
The Late Night Lake Show podcast is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best legal way to play daily fantasy player props in states like California, New York, Texas, and more. You pick 2 to 5 players and an over-under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 times on any entry. The best part is you can mix players from different sports. You could take the over on LeBron combined with the under on Mahomes in the same entry. Prize Picks is the easiest way to play daily fantasy because it's just you versus the projected numbers. Just use our promo code LNLS, and any deposit you make can receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100. So go support the brand and go win you some money. It's the best of both worlds. Again, use our promo code LNLS.
Vinay, real quick, man, before we get into the D'Lo talk, just like I don't know, what did you make of All-Star Weekend? How much did you watch of it? I mean, shout out Mac McClung. He obviously stole the show for the weekend, but sounds like, Mike Malone's opinion on the weekend is kind of the general one, the worst All-Star game ever. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the game and the weekend overall?
Yeah, All-Star game events wise, I mean, I don't think there's anything that, Mac was probably the most memorable part of everything. Like, there's nothing about that weekend that I go back, even the All-Star game. Like, obviously there's a couple of highlight plays and stuff like that, guys throwing it off the backboard to themselves. That was kind of cool. But like, it felt like the superstars weren't even there, like for the weekend. Like, it's like they showed up to the game and then they're like, all right, we're out. we're gonna go on vacation. I think Luka said something like that, where he's like, "Yeah, I'm just looking forward to being in Mexico after Sunday or something like that." And so
that's hilarious.
Yeah, so for me, it's like,
LeBron was in the Utah mountains with Savannah or whatever you call those dunes. It was very nice. I feel like that's what Windows screensavers look like. So
Yeah,
he missed the whole day, and they said for personal reasons. Motherfucker, we have Instagram. we could see this beautiful date he's on with his wife. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it that's crazy is exactly what you described. Like, we can see it now, right? Like, it's not like if he doesn't show up back in the day, we'd have no clue. But like, we could like see you not wanting to be part of it. So when the players don't want to be part of it, why should the fans care, right? And I will say this: I want to give kudos to Giannis and his brothers, because they were at every single event, and they like very clearly somebody asked them to like, "Yo, can you show up for this?" Because nobody else is going to show up for it. And they were at the celebrity game. They were watching the skills challenge, the dunk, everything. So I don't know, man. Like it's either. Like, you can't not make them all-stars, right? Like, but
right.
And Adam Silver's not David Stern, right? Like, he's not going to put down, like, David Stern would have put a mandate and said, y'all better all show up to all of these events and don't be going on no vacations and nothing like that. But Adam Silver doesn't work that way. So I don't know. But, overall, it was cool. It's cool to see them have fun. It's cool to see some guys get shine. But, outside of that, it was just, I enjoyed the break. I just kind of watched it mindlessly and stuff like that.
Like, I was installing a backsplash during the thing. It's the craziest thing I was just so disconnected from just sports, and we were all on vacation apparently. Players, fans, Twitter personalities. Kwame, anything that you would keep? Would you keep the pickup, the pickup format?
Honestly, I thought that was cool. I didn't mind it. I didn't think it was any worse than the TV version. I thought it was all the same. For me personally, honestly, I did not vibe with All-Star Weekend, man. All-Star Friday to me is always just like whatever. I never really cared too much about it. Even when it was rookie, sophomore, and then USA versus the world, and now it's like the multiple teams and like the G League squad that all kind of duke it out or whatever. I don't have a ton of interest in it. Sorry. The celebrity game is usually pretty awful. I say this every year. I think it's incredibly disrespectful they have WNBA players playing with like Kevin Hart, bro. Like, these are professional athletes. Like, and they don't respect their trade and put them in a celebrity game like they can just ball with casual people. Like, it's insulting to me, in my opinion.
And then they don't win All-Star, celebrity.
It's ludicrous. It's like, we really can't find more celebrities or whatever it may be. But that game, the highlights were dope. DK Metcalf was going crazy, just doing LeBron dunks all over the place.
That dude, I don't watch that much football, man. Like, I watch football, like, what is the playoff stuff. Yeah. I saw him and I was like, there's no way this guy's a wide receiver. Like, he's got to be like a middle linebacker or something like that. And they're like, no, he's a wide receiver. And I was just like, this is insane. But yeah, go ahead.
Freak athlete, man. Yeah. So that was cool. I've been watching the highlights, but All-Star Friday, throw it in the trash. All-Star Saturday, the skills competition. What was wrong with the old skills competition? Or even when it was like guards versus bigs, like whatever this new format is, I'm not a fan of. I'm tired of the Antetokounmpo brothers. I'm sick of them. I mean, I just didn't care about them in the event. They keep showing up every year. They can't win. So it's like, what are we doing here? Drew Holiday even had to jump in. I'm off it. Hey, cash that Google Pixel check and, make sure you have the phone out, every shot shown. So, hey, he's doing good promo for them. So shout out to him. But I'm good on All-Star Saturday, the skills competition. I usually really like the 3-point contest, but there was a lot of people out there that they did not put out their best performance. It's literally like they just rolled out of bed and started shooting threes. Like, did anybody warm up? It felt weird. Kevin Huerter went out there and shot like me, so that was embarrassing.
That was. I was shocked that he shot so bad. I was genuinely shocked he shot so bad.
You got Jason Tatum pump faking at the top of the key. It was just weird. It was a weird event. The dunk contest was underwhelming outside of Mac. And honestly, Trey Murphy had some really dope dunks too. Kevin Martin Jr. had a few cool ones. Jericho Sims, though, I don't know what he was doing in there. He did the same dunk twice. He just put one arm in the rim and then two arms in the rim.
Jericho,
it's like, all right, bro.
Tripping.
It's again like
he showed us a video of him in like Mexico talking about, I'm not worried, neither should you be. It's like, bro, we're not, but like that shit was ass still, regardless. But
it's just like, was anybody trying to put any effort into this All-Star weekend? And then the players after the All-Star game are talking about it's a glorified layup line. It's like, You guys can just go out there and try harder. That's the simple solution. If you guys just played, then the game wouldn't have been so ass. But they're talking about, it was a lame game, or we weren't really like. How are you gonna say that when you were literally the catalyst to whether it's a good game or not?
What do you guys think about it? Like, they asked SGA, they're like, oh, maybe if there's a better incentive. And I was, in my mind, like, when I heard that, like, I get it. You're already doing it for charity, and you guys don't give a crap about it, which is kind of crazy. But the other thing is, like, you make like 40 million, like he doesn't, but like other guys make, like Braun makes like $50 million a year. Like, how much money are you incentivizing him to play defense?
Exactly.
Like,
What's
he's
gonna
not
be
going to do
enough?
it. Yeah,
It's got to be like they're playing for specifically their own families. Like, this is for everybody's third cousins that keep calling them about something. You know, you win this game, we will take care of them forever, and they'll never call you again. Then
it's tough to figure out. I don't know how they'll do it.
I feel like the last 2 years, like when they first introduced the new scoring system to honor Kobe, I felt like the first 2 years were actually pretty good games.
Yeah,
they were.
And then this year they just went out there and nobody cared.
Exactly.
It was a crazy phenomenon. So I just don't get it. I was disappointed in the weekend overall, but it seemed like nobody had interest. The players didn't. And everybody who's there didn't seem interested. It just felt like a weird all-star weekend. Something I've never felt before. I don't know if it was just Salt Lake City.
The halftime show was good. The music
was good. Burna Boy was going crazy.
But again, you put you put Afri pop, wonderful African music in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough sell.
Like, I get it, but it's like you didn't need to do that. Like, I'm not saying you needed Garth Brooks in there, but hell, they showed the video of like just people even responding to Post Malone's concert, and nobody was moving, man. Like, at least fit the demographics of people. I'm not here for any like catering to Utah, but hell, why would the players care? Like, you know, there's nothing exciting going on right now.
What happened, my timeline was just people saying Adam Silver is going to go to hell for putting this music ensemble in Salt Lake City.
Yeah,
that was
like,
crazy.
Like,
man.
Come on, man.
Read the room, bro.
Like, I can only imagine what they're going to do for Indianapolis, Indiana.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's
next year.
nasty.
So you want to talk about players just finding a new place to go on vacation immediately after the game? Tell them the game's in Indiana. So, anyways, Late Night Lake Show. We are back. Got our boy Vinay in the building. We're getting prepped up. We're looking ahead. We're looking ahead to the Lakers' final stretch of the season. I honestly, I think I tweeted it out about a month before the trade happened, where the Lakers acquired D'Angelo Russell from the Timberwolves in the Russell Westbrook trade. And I said, I forget what the context of the tweet was, but I quote tweeted it and said, honestly, out of all of the young core members, I think D'Angelo's let me down the most. And I didn't mean that from like a disrespect. D'Angelo Russell's had an ass career. I just had the highest expectations besides Brandon Ingram for D'Angelo Russell. Like, I was on the D-Lo hype train when we drafted him and stuff, and it was like, damn, that was the end of it with Brooklyn, and now he's back. So, you know, whatever. D'Angelo Russell averaging 17 points a game, 5.6 assists, 5.7 and 6 assists a game, shooting 37% from three. Vinay, I don't think I've seen a faster, adaptation around Anthony Davis and LeBron James than D'Angelo Russell these past couple of games, man. It almost was instant chemistry in the pick and roll. Kwame, I'm sure you'll get into it just on the defensive side of things, some surprises there, but wanted to get your thoughts overall on D'Lo's impact to this offense and what it can mean for unlocking really a dangerous team, down the road.
Yeah, I think D'Lo is just a more natural complement to just kind of what LeBron and AD, especially where AD is at in his career right now offensively. Like, if his jump shot's not all the way back, then you have to complement him with a guy who likes to take jump shots. And D'Lo is not, he's almost the antithesis of Russ. Like, Russ loves to get to the rim because that's how he's done it his entire career. But if you watch D'Lo, or if you've ever watched D'Lo doesn't really go to the rim with that level of frequency. He'll still get 2 feet in the paint, but he likes to use floaters. He likes to do the mid-range pull-up at the free throw line. He'll come around the screen and take a pull-up three. And so I think the reason why you're seeing such an easy fit is because it's natural. You've got a jump shooting guy who likes to jump shoot and can make plays high level reads, and he does that. He does that pretty well. He won't do some of the risky stuff that Russ does, which sometimes would look amazing if the risky stuff worked well. And then so you do get that with him, but that's not really like a knock on him. But I think your observation is perfect. Like the reason why it's such a smooth addition is because he also plays at like their pace. You know what I mean? Like it's never rushed. He plays at LeBron's pace. Like, and they've got like this little triangle thing going right now where they like, Bron can give it to D'Lo. D'Lo can use the pump fake to get somebody to close out on him, go by them. And now Anthony Davis has, like an alley-oop at the rim. I think that happened in the very last game.
Mm-hmm.
There's a play where that sequence sort of happened, and Anthony Davis got alley-oop. So it's like he's just a better fit. If there's a simple way of explaining it, his game complements our 2 stars significantly better than what Russ's did. And that's just because they're 2 different styles of player, but the Lakers needed this style, the D'Angelo Russell style of player, in order for them to be successful at this juncture of what our star duo is.
Well, Kwame and I were talking the other day, and I said, like, and I'm sure it would be an amazing fit, an amazing addition, but I'm just talking about just for the different gears that guards have, right? And I think Russ is a guy with his foot on the he's flooring it. I think the prime version of that right now is probably someone like a De'Aaron Fox, that when he gets the ball, he's a blur. He's gone, right? What you just said about D'Lo matching the same gears as LeBron and AD, it's just perfect fits as they churn, man. They work together, and I think D'Angelo being able to also kind of, I don't know, own his mid-range game, like that very, very underrated or not really highlighted part of the game. Hell, they named DeMar DeRozan the master of the mid-range. I don't think he liked that too much, but D'Angelo Russell is definitely in that comfort sweet spots, and Lakers picked up a couple of guys that love the mid-range now between him and Roy that can find their spots, and it just seems like, okay, that's butter. I feel good about that one right there. But I think what has stood out to me the most with D'Lo is just his communication. We are seeing right now, in the honeymoon phase, but I don't even think we could call it a honeymoon phase, but because it's a do or die phase right now for the Lakers. You have no choice but to be at your best right now. And also because you're going into free agency, brother. Now you are in the spotlight. Everything is going to be blown up 30,000 more times than it would when you being in Minneapolis, Minnesota, right? Yes. Wonderful city. It's frozen up there right now. Not a lot of cameras making it up to Minneapolis, but
contract year is a heck of a motivator when it comes to making all the right plays and saying all the right things to the media and doing all the right things. So the Lakers got him at a very, very nice time. Remember, this is a player that we're talking about that's been traded. He's been in the league 8 years. He's already been traded 4 times in 8 years. And so he's been moved around a bunch of times. So we got him at the right time. And so, it's a good ad.
What? LA to Brooklyn, Brooklyn to Golden State, Golden State to Minneapolis, Minneapolis to LA. Mm-hmm. The boy's been around the block, and I think, there was a little pushback, right? At the very beginning, folks were like, oh, yeah, you remember? It's like, all right, well, he was still a child, and I think that more so spoke to how dumb Nick Young was for speaking to a child about those types of subjects. But he's back, and it looks glorious. We're excited about it. Kwame, your thoughts on D'Angelo Russell's communications on the defensive end, brother? What stood out to you there?
Yeah, so I mean, I watched a ton of the playoff series last year, Minnesota versus Memphis, and I noticed he's a great quarterback on defense. Obviously, he doesn't necessarily have the greatest physical capabilities as a defender, but he gives effort. But you see on the defensive end, when he plays off ball, he's very good at calling out reads, stepping over for the help and telling, maybe the defender behind him, like, look, watch my guy or watch the paint, cover it. Like if you just take a moment to watch him on the defensive end, he's great at communicating. Like him and AD were just talking constantly on the defensive end, and that was really awesome to see. Our point guard, quarterbacking our defense is great, so I actually think that's a huge difference. I mean, obviously you take Russ out and put D'Angelo in. Again, 2 different styles of play, but I like that D'Lo's really playing this communicator role on both ends of the floor, making sure people know what's going on. If he steps over for help, making sure, hey, to call out, hey, my man's over here, watch both, or, whatever happens. It's been very cool to see, and it's actually resulted in a few turnovers, some good reads between him and Vanderbilt and Beasley. They already have that chemistry, so they seem to play off him really well on both ends of the floor. So I'm excited to see that grow and develop. It seemed like Bron and AD were loving it as well. So he's just a great player. And even on the offensive end, this is the type of point guard that works well with LeBron. Like, this is like a Kyrie style, like doesn't need to dominate the ball, can play off ball, but can also make some magic happen with the ball in their hands, both scoring, passing, whatever it may be. And that's just something they need. And he's, a crafty player. He's good at finding his spots. He can get to the line, and he shoots great shooting splits, like once he gets to the line. So I think this is a perfect complement of a player, of a point guard that we need, especially on the offensive end. He has a ton of upside. And again, he just gets to work with LeBron and AD. It's just only going to get better. So I'm excited for him as a player. He's probably one of the players I was the most excited to bring in, just because I like the style that he plays. So I'm excited to see more D'Lo. And again, this dude he's not scared of the moment. He'll take the big shot in the big moment and not think twice. And that's a player we need. Another guy that's just ready. Hey, you catch the ball in the corner, I'll make some magic happen. I'm not scared of the moment. So I'm excited to have D'Lo for the foreseeable future.
The fact that the boy originated ice in my veins, left, and now that he's come back, his signature celebration is now a fucking sheesh or whatever the hell they doing these days, man. They done appropriated D'Angelo's ice in my veins. But damn it, brother, you get it back when you do it with the Lakers. And we looking forward for a couple ice in my veins over this last stretch of the NBA season. Before we look ahead to the stretch, wanted to go through some of the games that the Lakers have coming up with Vinay, look at some of the teams that may be folding it in, may not be. I just got a question, fellas. I'm a big Rui Hachimura fan from what I've seen so far. I think he, when he got his shine without the rest of the trade additions, Lakers fans thought the stock was up on him. I really appreciate that's a guy who understands his size, understands how to take advantage of his size in getting to his spots. People talked about a la Kawhi as far as like using his methodicalness to getting to his spots and rising up and it being butter. I like all that. My question is, Vinay, looking at the Lakers additions and looking at that Roy left the Wizards, not really liking his minutes and things like that. How do you see kind of Darvin mixing all of this up because it makes sense? Because the Lakers had LeBron on a quasi minutes restriction, right, in that Pelicans game. So how do you see that kind of working out with Roy and Vandy and all the Lakers new guys?
Yeah, so I think Rui is probably he's not like the Kuzma role, but he's probably closer to like a direct sub for LeBron more than like he's not like he played 3 and 4, but he's more of like a direct sub for LeBron. And I think the team being more balanced and then the lineup adjustments, right? So if the bench ends up being Dennis Reeves, Rui, Bamba, and then depending on who we're playing against, it's either Troy or Lonnie, or it might even be Wenyen if they want to play bigger at the 4 or 5 off the bench. Like Rui is sort of the guy that you just want to keep feeding like isolation buckets off the bench. Like he's your isolation guy. And I know Dennis can do that, and I know like Austin can do that.
Will.
But like that's going to have to be a thing. Like that's one of the things I'm like going to be watching about him, because there were plays in that Pelicans game where Rui like kind of looked like he had it going, but then for some reason we just kind of went away from him, like getting him like his matchup and stuff like that. And so like once they get film and stuff like that, I think they'll start doing it more. But if he can be effective as a scorer off the bench, and the Lakers can, if the starters do their job and give us like a 10-point lead, let's just say it's a 10-point lead, and the bench can come in and just hold the 10-point lead, then they've done their job, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, I think the days of, like the KD Warriors where, they go up 10 in 2 minutes and then all of a sudden they're up 20 in the next 3 minutes because they're so stacked. Like That's gone. Like you like there are teams that are gonna try and counter you and stuff like that, and have strengths to your weaknesses and stuff like that. So if the Lakers can do that, which is what they did against this Pelicans team, like the bench kind of held their ground, and then the starters came back in and they just kind of closed the game out and stuff like that. Like if we can use him and keep using him in that manner, then we can keep LeBron's minutes down in that manner. And or it's one of those things where LeBron just doesn't have to do that much, even when he is on the floor, because like LeBron didn't play very many minutes. He played like 30 minutes or something like that this past game. 30. But it's just like, were there any points that you felt in the game where LeBron was like having to do a lot for the team in any manner?
For sure.
No, and it felt great. It was awesome to see.
Right. And then now the scoring record's out of the way, so he's probably not worried about having to score a whole bunch of points and stuff like that. So it's like it would be smart to use him in that manner and stuff like that. So I'll be interested to see how they use it. I think using him off the bench is the right move, but using him for his scoring, like get him the ball, let him attack his guys, like use his advantages and see what happens.
Yeah, plus 8 in 16 minutes, right? I mean, wasn't as great as shooting night from 3, 0 for 4, but I think with Rui, I said it at the time. I was like, I think he has a flat shot, right? He has a lot of in and outs, man. And it's like, don't worry, they gonna fall, brother. And then somebody at the time was like, well, he's got a flat shot. I was like, well, I hope they fall, but at least they look good, right? He's not at the point where I'm like, closing my eyes, and that's something I do for a couple of players on the roster where they put it up. I just like I'll see it when it lands,
But his shot profile is very much the mid-range, which is like a really good, like I think you said a second ago, like with D'Lo, with Rui, even with Beasley now, like we have actual guys that shoot in that area that people are leaving wide open for us. So it's like just got to be smart, with how we use them and stuff like that.
But it's a good problem to have, man. Depth. This is something that we've been starving for a season and a half. Like, this is a good problem to have. I mean, obviously, it seems that at the moment that Lonnie and Wenyen are a little bit on the outside looking in. But obviously, I think that'll change with matchups, depending on what they need. But, this is a good problem to have. We got depth, and, we're strong at almost every spot. There's no massive, glaring, gaping hole of a weakness. We don't have to trot out 3 guards, 4 guards. We have wings, like real-sized wings. So, the deadline was quite a masterpiece. I got to give it up to Rob. He did his thing to, convert some assets without even giving too much to give us a team that looks like we could really salvage the end of the season and make quite the push. So, again, I think everybody's kind of in agreement that this was a good trade for everybody. Both the guys going out and the guys coming in, the team that's left here. I think this is a good trade for just about everybody. Everybody's in a good situation. So, I'm just excited to get some more games under our belts and see what we can make happen.
I'm also glad that we got all these trades like with a reasonable pick compensation to it. Everybody's like 2 first rounders for Bojan. And I was like, no, we should not be trading 2 first rounders for I don't care how desperate you are. Like, that is not smart. And so, I think that's another thing that I give Rob a lot of crap. And I probably still will continue to give him crap. But it's getting him for the top 4 protection, that's all good stuff that he did, pick protection wise. So,
yeah, and even like you said earlier, man, we have what we have, and it's gonna be really good. We have a lot of flexibility towards the future, and I hope we keep this model. I'm a sucker for a good big 3. I'm a sucker for it. I'm not going to lie. But this depth model with our superstars has been proven to work. Obviously, 2020 was a while away, but, I like what we have, just having a lot of competent, strong NBA players, capable of going out there and making some things happen. Having a, 3-star top heavy team and just filling it out with vet mins, a star goes down. It's a tough formula to sustain. I like this one. I hope they continue. I hope a lot of these guys get extended and, they stick with the team and we can continue to build this chemistry and not turn over the roster every year. So I hope we can get some continuity with this group, and keep what we got, not, slut ourselves out for a superstar.
Well, never say never. The profile how the Lakers do, man. You gotta reach for the stars, man.
They can't say no to the shiny new toy. Our front office, what is that? when the Lamborghini truck comes out, like I gotta get it.
I gotta get it, man. You say how much was it? Well, all right. Well, at least we asked, right? So, no, it's yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head at the very end when you're talking about that. This can be, we could do this next year too, right?
Yeah.
Like the Lakers can. Vinay, correct me if I'm wrong. The Lakers can bring back all of these guys, or does someone have to, is this now into the pocketbooks conversation about luxury tax?
So I think the only guaranteed salary that they added, if I remember correctly, was Vando. Everybody else is non-guaranteed or expired, or like Beasley has like a team option that could be played. So they are definitely keeping better after the season's over, but like they are definitely keeping that back door open for if somebody decides if they want to use their entire cap space on somebody for the 3-star model that we just discussed. So as much as I would love to say that, these guys are all going to be here beyond that, which is very possible. It's also, I think, we all agree that's probably the better way to do things. It's also very possible that they just let everybody walk and try to get like whatever that 3rd star is going to be. I don't know who it is. And I don't know how we would get them because you still have to have tradable salaries, but like Rui and Vando would be like the main, I think Reeves, and then, like Max Christie or something like that would be like the only guys that are on the team. So never say never. But the smart move would be to retain these guys because you need salaries. Even if you're going to trade for a superstar, Brad Beal, Zach LaVine, Trae Young, whoever, Kyrie Irving, whoever your people are insane about, you got to have salaries to send out. And we can't do it with cap space. So you're going to have to sign these guys. So, they're probably going to sign these guys, I would imagine. But they'll probably try and sign them on team-friendly deals. Like if D'Lo wants $35 million, I don't think the Lakers are going to give him $35 million. They're probably going to be like, we'll give you like 27, 30.
And you back in L.A.
Yeah.
And you back in L.A., D'Angelo. Yep. Come on now, baby. Come on.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Time for discounts and deals now. Like the Bus family does. It's a family affair. It's a family business, man.
Rule number 1 of being a Lakers fan. If you don't know this, Late Night Lake Show audience, if you are not the star, you are expendable. That's how it works in Lakerland. So if your name is not LeBron James or Anthony Davis, you are expendable. Doesn't matter what you did before you came here. So that's how the game works in LA.
Rent, do not buy. Please, 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 please.
That needs to be like a PSA. Like we gotta blare the horns and
welcome to the Lakers. Rent, don't buy. Awesome, man. All right, so we said all this. It's all sunshine and rainbows and everything's good. We are today speaking on Tuesday, February 21st, year of our Lord 2023, and while the arrow's pointing up, the Lakers are still in 13th place in the Western Conference. There is work to be done, right? The record is 27-32, 2 games back of the 10 seed, 3 games back of the 7 seed, 3.5 games back of the 6 seed to get all the way up out of this play-in scenario. Vinay, you are a fan, you are a fanatic, just like us. But the reason why I have you on here, and we've done Ricky's therapy couch a couple of times in prior seasons, is because you're logical, brother, and that we appreciate you for that. Let's just look ahead. Let's just put the crystal ball on the table, man. The Lakers' next stretch of games is a little tough. Let's keep it a buck. Like they're coming back to face the Warriors. It does sound like Andrew Wiggins has something personal going on. We hope everything's okay with him. Mm-hmm. But then, you got a little bit of a stretch where you're at Dallas, Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic. You're at Memphis. Mm-hmm. Then you're at Oklahoma City. That Oklahoma City game is a non-negotiable. You got to have that one, right? Yeah. And then you have Minnesota and then doubling back with Golden State. Vinay, just talk to me about, after seeing 1 and some change games with the new guys, right, how you feel going into this next stretch of the season, and what do you think the Lakers need to do? They've had a lot of talks about how many games they need to win, but what do you really think this Lakers team needs to accomplish from a wins perspective to have a good standing heading into potential postseason basketball?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people have been trying to, and the Lakers have done this themselves. Dennis has done this himself. I don't know why, but that's a separate conversation. Like they're trying to like earmark how many games that they can lose. They're like, oh, we can lose 7 or 8 games.
Right.
I'm like, no,
Right.
like you don't know what the rest of the West is going to be like, so you can't pocket any losses and stuff like that. But like these next 6 games, and I don't know if fans realize the significance of it. All of these teams are, with the exception of Memphis, are directly in front of us. So if you can't, these next 6 games, which are winnable games, there's none, including Memphis, there are none of these games with this current roster that I think that we can't win these games. Now, I'm not saying we're going to blow them out, but like if we have a healthy Braun, AD's a little bit rested, he's given his foot rest. These guys have gotten some practice in, prior to the game starting. We know that the rotation shouldn't have Dennis Schroeder starting. Like that stuff's all been squared away. Like this is go time. Like these 6 games, you've got to win 5 of them, at least 5 of them. And people are like, oh no, it's not like they're going to win every game. I'm not saying they got to go 23-0, but you've got to make up that ground now, because if you can't beat the teams that are directly in front of you, you have no chance against the teams that are higher up, against the Clippers or the Kings or the Nuggets. And I know we've beaten some of those teams, like we've beaten the Kings and we've beaten the Nuggets, but like that doesn't mean anything if we can't even beat the teams that are in front of us. So I think it's very doable. I don't think, like, I don't know what the number needs to be, but to get to 10th place at least, like you should be able to get pretty close to 500 after these 6 games. If you go 5-1, you're gonna be 1 game under 500. Like you're probably like a 7 seed or an 8 seed at that point.
Right.
If you're 500, you're probably in the playoffs or very close to being the 6th seed at that point. So it's like we can't control what happens with everybody else, but these teams are directly in front of us. And this was my thing, like with the OKC game when Braun broke the scoring record. Like I know Braun's gonna break the scoring record. That's gonna be the thing, but you got to win the game because
it's a must-win game.
These teams are right in front of us. And look, Golden State may not have Steph for both of those games. We don't know. Minnesota is not going to have Cat back. I don't know when he's planning on coming back, so they may not have him back. Dallas plays no defense. Like their coaches come out openly and said, we are just going to try and outscore the other team. We're not playing defense. So, and the Lakers are not that type of team. They play defense, and we have defensive guys, so we have to play away. Memphis will be a tough game. OKC is a tricky team. But again, the talent is even now. Like I said this before the Golden State game. I said, we have enough talent to win these games. We shouldn't be losing because we don't have enough talent. If Ham makes a bad adjustment, I'm sure Lakers Twitter will put him where he needs to be. But like talent is not the issue now. Talent was an issue before, but it's not an issue now. And so if they come out hot, maybe they win 4 or 5 of these games coming up. Like, I mean, I think the wheel's going to start moving in a direction where like people are going to have a lot of optimism. I think these guys will start believing in themselves even more as a team and stuff like that. So I'm putting a lot of emphasis on these 6 games. Like some people are like, oh, if they go 3-3, that's good. I was like, no, we can't go 500. We were playing 500
you're
basketball.
In the same spot.
yeah. We were playing 500 basketball with Russ. So you're not going to tell me that we moved them and now we're still playing 500 basketball. That can't work. Can't be that way. But I think they're much better than people realize. So I'm optimistic. I've always been optimistic until they're mathematically eliminated. So I think they can get some of these games. Like they can jump some of these teams. Nobody's seen us. Golden State hasn't seen us with Braun in this roster. Dallas hasn't seen us. Memphis, none of these teams have seen us with the new roster, so they don't know how to defend us. So we got to jump on that opportunity.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, man. It's time. It's time. I mean, we can't keep talking about it when we make a run. Like the players, it's time to put up or shut up. Like they got to really come out and do their thing and gain some ground. Like you said, for me, they got to win 5 or 6 at worst, 6 preferably. Win all 6 if you can. Obviously, the more wins possible, but we got to start making up ground at some point. There's no better time than now. We don't want to talk in 3 weeks like, well, now we need the Warriors to lose these 2. Like we don't want to get into the match where we have to watch the standings and wait for other people to lose games so we can maybe slide up. We got to take destiny in our own hands. We got to start winning games. And everything Vinay said, I agree with 100%. The players got to do it. Teams haven't seen us. The talent we're not a talent deficit anymore.
Mm-hmm.
These are all winnable games, and they have to win these games. Bron said it at All-Star Weekend. These are the 23 most important games of his career to this point. Might have been an exaggeration, but I hope that's the mindset he's really going into it looking at. I hope the rest of the team takes that as well. It's go time. If they want to make a push to the playoffs, it's got to be now. And again, even to Vinay's point, if we can't beat these teams that are in front of us, even if we do get in a playing scenario, are they just going to beat us again? Like, we got to establish dominance. I know there's even a few tiebreakers still in here, but every game, to Vinay's point, is winnable. We shouldn't be losing to the Warriors without Steph. We shouldn't be losing to the Timberwolves with no Cat, and I guess they're starting Mike Conley, whatever. Shouldn't be losing to them. We shouldn't lose to Dallas. They're not going to guard anybody. Again, Memphis, they have a great home record. I mean, they're second in the West. They're like 24-5 at the crib. Jaren Jackson Jr. apparently blocks 6 blocks per shot at the crib. So that could be a tough one. But again, that one should be winnable. We have the talent to do it. We have the players. Every one of these games should be winnable. They shouldn't be thinking about tricking any of them off. None of it. Everyone's got to go. So it's time. In my opinion, I don't want to hear no more talk. I need to see the results on the court. I need a win streak. I need to feel something again.
In LeBron's own words, we need to get greedy. Like, we actually have to start with we can't get like, we're gonna have like a back-to-back against the Rockets, like I think in like 3 weeks. Like, Bron and AD can sit out those games. But if we can take care of these games, then we can get them the rest that they need. But we can't lose these tiebreaker games that they're really, really important.
Yeah, it's time.
I don't think that well, I'm just looking, fellas, and Vinay, I know you out there in California, you're a little limited on your sports gambling, which, by the way, make sure that for all of our California listeners, Late Night Lake Show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Enter promo code LNLS on sign up. Get your first deposit matched up to $100. God bless y'all out in California. Vinay told us before the show, unfortunately, y'all were not able to get the legal sports gambling online yet, but I am here in Illinois, and so I'm looking a little interested. The Lakers are plus 198 to make the playoffs, man. 198. You lay 100, you win 200 essentially. 198 is what you get.
I take it. I take that bet.
Like, come on. If this was the Lakers roster at the beginning of the season, you would definitely say this is a playoff roster. You would almost go as far to say this might be a contending roster, depending on how much you were sipping the Kool-Aid with Darvin Ham at the time and not knowing how he gets down with his smaller guard lineups or whatever. Yeah. But it wouldn't have even been an issue. It wouldn't have been an issue back then. So, all right, fuck it. You know what? Late Night Lake Show listeners, we're doing it. We're putting the kids' college fund that the Lakers are going to make the playoffs.
Hammer it in.
100 shekels.
Lock it in. Yeah.
Locked in.
You put $100?
Well, unfortunately. Yeah, I did.
You're a better man than me.
Well, that's what I had in the account.
Like $9, brother.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 10, and then I forgot. I just wanted to see the full.
You're committed to Late Night Lake. This is conviction.
That's a commitment, man.
No. You can't be a real fan of any team unless you have conviction. You gotta go. You gotta jump. We in faith, man.
Lakers making the playoffs. I put my money on it. Damn it. So that's how we getting down, fellas.
There we go.
Vinay, it's been a pleasure, my man. The Lakers are on their way into, what is going to be the 23 most important games of my year. To be honest, 2023 is it's got its set up to be an exciting one. If the LeBron and company have anything to say about it, man. So, final thoughts on the Lakers as they approach this pivotal stretch, and apparently is legacy changing for LeBron James. I don't know how that's the case 20 seasons in, but anyways, Vinay, final thoughts on just how the Lakers are getting prepped and ready to head into the final stretch.
Yeah, I think I just, the best way to put it is just to echo LeBron's sentiments. Like, it's obviously not going to affect his legacy, whatever happens these 23 games, but I think these 23 games are going to matter a lot to the players that are going to be playing, because it may decide their future with the team. Our front office has said that this is pre-agency for some of these guys.
Yeah.
And that means that they have extensions on the line depending on how they play. And, you know, it's always nice when you say nice things to the media, but we got to see it on the court. So all the sound bites don't mean nothing to me when you're in a post game saying, yeah, I really like playing with LeBron. And he just makes it so easy. And it's like, that doesn't mean anything to me. I need you to make your shots. We need to win the games. You got to do your job. So I think the Lakers are going to take it seriously. I think the players are going to take it seriously. I think our leader, LeBron, is going to take it very seriously. We keep our fingers crossed that they stay healthy. Nothing happens. And I think we get into the playoffs. And if we get into the playoffs and the 1, 2, 3 seeds are some combination of Denver, Sacramento, and maybe Memphis, you were talking about sipping Kool-Aid, Ricky. I'll be
me no say. You ain't got to say it. Me no say.
The propaganda machine will be,
churning.
It's gonna be up and running, brother. We like how they dust off the cars in every Fast and Furious movie, like it's just been sitting around for 27 years, but got like all of next year's technology in it. That's the propaganda machine. We go 5-1 over these next 6.
It's gonna move.
I'm into the gas station to get the diesel. That's where we at. So,
but we gotta take one game at a time. We gotta take care of the games in front of us. So I'm locked in with them. I think they're gonna do it.
My man. Well, Vinay, we appreciate you sliding by as always. One of our OG friends of the show, man. You guys know where to follow him. If you've unfollowed him because you think he was a Russell Westbrook stan, shame on you.
Oh my God.
Lakers fans first. We don't put any stands on the show. All right. We let Guru entertain the stands on the spaces. On here, it's Lakers first. It's the propaganda network. Don't do that to V, but you know where to follow him, man. Vinay, we appreciate having you on, man, as always, brother.
All right. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you. All right, guys, that'll do it for this episode of the Late Night Lake Show podcast. Make sure you are tuned in and checked in and subscribe wherever you get your hashtag good content. For Kwame, it's Ricky. We out. Peace.